What music they make. Metal.
Sejam bem-vindos a mais um podcast de Metal Global. Hoje a conversa é com Gary Holt, guitarrista dos Exodus, eles que vêm a Portugal apresentar Goliath, o seu novo álbum, 12º álbum de estúdio, que é editado no próximo dia 20 de março, dia que se inicia a digressão Crushers of the World dos Kreator, que junta Kreator, Carcass, Exodus e Nails. A conversa com Gary Holt é para ouvir já a seguir, mas já sabem, tem a versão rádio, versão com música exclusiva na RTP Play, é passar por lá e procurar por Metal Global. Para além de temas de Exodus, temos também temas novos de Kreator, uma recordação de Carcass e ainda a novidade Lamb of God. Agora então para falar do 12º álbum de estúdio, e é a proposta mais multifacetada até à data dos Exodus, contando com várias colaborações épicas e assinalando o regresso de Rob Dukes como vocalista principal. Para falar da novidade Goliath, a conversa é com Gary Holt.
Hello.
Hello Gary, how are you?
I'm doing good. How are you, man?
Everything is good. How is Canada?
Cold as fuck. the last few days weren't so bad. It was cold, but you put on a hoodie and a jacket, you're fine. Today it's 13 below zero. But it's hella hot in my room. I had to turn the heat down. It's getting hot in here. But yeah, it's terrible outside. I'm not going outside for anything.
Yeah, you do well. I mean, with that cold, I would stay inside as well.
Yeah, it's like man is not meant to live in that shit. Right?
No. Polar bears, yes. Man, no.
Polar bears, yes. Mankind, no. It's awful.
And how is the tour with Megadeth and Anthrax going?
It's awesome. We're 3 shows in. It's been really good. The crowd's been awesome. Weather aside, it's been awesome. And we're having a really good time.
Cool. And let's talk about Goliath. That's why we're here. Obviously, Rob Dukes is back in the band. And, they say that the only constant in life is change. It was necessary for this change to happen.
Yeah. I mean, I know it sounds like a stock response, but being in a band is like being married. And in the case of Exodus, you have 4 spouses, Slipknot's got a whole bunch of wives, But, you have 4 spouses and everybody has to be on the same page. And, sometimes marriages come to an end and it's not always due to adultery and spousal abuse. Sometimes you just grow apart. And, at this current age, we're not young anymore for certain. And we need to be on the same page going forward. And right now the energy and the vibe in this band is remarkable. And we joked about when we parted ways with Steve, we joked about let's find some 30-year-old guy, he's got you could still see his stomach muscles, and he's got good knees. He could jump off the top of shit without leaving in an ambulance, But no, we'd rather have someone as broken down as the rest of us. And Rob's been one of our closest friends all along. The relationship has remained, and so we're happy to have him back. And then we recorded the album, and he showed us he could do 1,000 more things than we thought, which was remarkable.
And those songs were already written before he joined?
No, they were all written after. I mean, I'm always writing riffs, so I've always got lots of riffs. But, no songs were finished until Rob was back in the band. I mean, I might have had some, in my little home demos that were sort of close, But when we started recording the album, we had maybe 5 songs done, and we recorded 18.
Well, that's quite a lot.
Yeah, we like to work that way. We write in the studio. We go in with ideas and riffs, and then we gather and we figure it out, And it works best for us. That's the way bands used to do it in the 70s, Deep Purple would go to Lake Geneva, or Queen would go to some chateau in the south of France. We rent a little vacation home. And in the past, we've built studios in the house. We used a full-time studio on this one, but we rented a home 10 minutes away, and we lived together. And, it helps that you get along and you want to do that. And but it allows us to write music all day long. Like when we get back from the day's recording, we have dinner and we still write. There's guitars everywhere. There's electronic drum kit in the corner, and so we still like work on ideas, and then we go in the studio the next day and try them out.
So you're pretty much still old school when it comes to the writing process. It's better to have everyone around bouncing ideas off each other, work those ideas on the spot, instead of you having like the skeleton of a song, showing to the guys, and then, oh no, we don't like it, and send it back, and then you work again.
Well, we used to do it like other bands do as well. You know, we'd go in the studio the first day of recording, we have 10 songs done. We record the 10 songs, and now this is how we like to work. And on this album, the most collaborative effort we've ever done. Lee wrote almost half the music on the album, you know. Tom wrote lyrics, Lee wrote lyrics, Rob and I wrote the rest, Jack helps in all the arrangements. So, you know, the collaborative nature makes it exciting for us at this stage of the game. You know, if I wrote most of an album in the past, it wasn't because I felt that it was required. It's because I wrote the songs we needed. You know, if Lee wrote 2, I had to write 8, you know, and this time I wrote 6 on the album and Lee wrote 4.
That's good. And you happy with I mean, everybody's happy with the way things are now. I mean, not putting the burden on you just to write songs and then have other people just coming up with ideas must be, you know, refreshing for you as well now.
Yeah, absolutely. It keeps things fresh. It adds other musical viewpoints to the album, you know, which part of why this album is so diverse, you know. Lee being, you know, all of his years in Heathen, you know, he's a melodic thrash legend, you know, and he brought a lot of that to this album, especially with like the song The Changing Me that he wrote. And it makes my job easy, you know, like and while Lee's working on his songs, I'm working on songs, Rob's working on things, so everybody's doing their jobs, and then we get together and just make it happen, and it's awesome.
Yeah. After so many years, it's still exciting to go in a studio and write new music.
Yeah, I love being in the studio. Some people don't like it. I love it, you know, because you're able to try all these crazy, no matter how insane the idea is, you could try it. And then you could say, it's stupid, it's insane, what was I thinking? Or it's awesome and it works. Like, you know, the song Violence Works, you know, Tom started it out with a drum beat, like a funk drum beat. And at one point I said, you know, maybe you shouldn't do that. And he goes, no, the funk beat stays. Okay, cool. Let's take it further. And I had Jack put the little funk bass notes, and then I added a little scratchy guitar thing. And I was laughing because, like, for 5 seconds, people are going to think Exodus lost their minds. But we fucking thought it was awesome, and so we did it, you know?
Yeah, well,
I enjoy it, you know, I enjoy the process.
Well, what was that song in the studio sessions that just came out really, really quickly, if there was any?
Hostis Humani Generis. I wrote that. That's the last song I wrote. And I recorded all the rhythm guitars with no drums. I just did it to a click track because I recorded it I wrote it right at the end of the sessions, and it was easier for me to just do the guitars. Then Tom could study those. The finished guitars have a better quality to play along to, and then learn the song, because he'd only heard me working on it at the house we were staying in. And so yeah, that one came around really fast. Like, some of it was nearly improvised.
And, you know, you mentioned that funk part. Was there any other crazier ideas that were thrown into the mix, but they were just too crazy?
No, actually, no. We used everything we thought of. You know, I mean, we have 8 songs done for the next album, and I'm trying to, you know, like, I haven't listened to those in a long time, but those songs are as good as anything on this album. You know, I still have anxiety over which ones we picked. Like no shit. I like, fuck, maybe we should have put that one on there. But there's worse problems to have than have like 8 really great songs already done for the next record, you know? Yeah.
It's good to have like that already in the back burner, so you don't have to waste that much time to put out the next record when you feel it. So
that was our goal, was to finish both albums so that we could take a little break in between albums and not have to go back in the studio. I could go on vacation. I've never done it. Never had a vacation.
A proper one.
I've never had a vacation that didn't require me to play guitar to be there. I've been to some exotic spots, but I played a show, and that's why I was there. I've never just, like me and my wife, gotten on a plane and just, let's go and leave the guitar at home and tell everybody to fuck off and go out and sit on a beach. That was my goal. So we need to record a little bit more music. We'll probably, by the time we get there, Lee and I will have written 10 more. So, we'll record them and see which ones are the best then.
So, but those vacations are not going to happen anytime soon because you guys are going to be quite busy. You're on tour now. In March, when the album comes out, you have the tour with Kreator, and after that, the US tour with Sepultura. So it's going to be at least 6 months that no vacation.
Yeah, no vacation. I mean, maybe I'll be able to do something in the summer. I don't know. But we're working as hard as we are right now because we believe so much in this album. And these are great tours to start an album cycle on. We're playing arenas with Megadeth and Anthrax. We're going to do really big venues with Kreator and Carcass and Nails, and then we're jumping right into the last U.S. Sepultura tour. So it's going to be amazing. And then we'll take a little break from the summer and continue.
Yeah, you're doing something that bands used to do back in the day. I mean, they had the album ready to come out, and they would be on tour a month prior to the album coming out. It doesn't get much. It's exciting to see something like that, especially for a band, because nowadays it's complicated. Like
that used to be normal. It used to be the normal thing was to lead into a release and you introduce people to like one new song, which is what we're doing right now, and we only play 30 minutes on this tour. So our night's work is over before it starts. It feels like, but it makes it easy to get a good night's sleep when you're done working at 7:30.
And on this record, there's a couple of guests. You got Peter Tetgren from Hypocrisy, and you also have Katie playing the violin, Katie Jacoby. How did that came about, those collaborations?
Well, with The Change in Me, that was Lee's song, and it was Lee's vision all along. And Peter's one of our closest friends, has been for many years, and we've collaborated together before. I've done a Hypocrisy solo, and he did backgrounds on the song The Sun Is My Destroyer on Exhibit B. And so Lee knew exactly what he wanted. He wanted Peter to do this whole choir of clean vocals, and Tom Hunting did some as well. And so he sent him the song, and he sent it back, and it was just perfect. And at the end of the song, it's just Rob and Peter just screaming at each other, basically. So it was awesome and perfect. And that was Lee's vision. On Goliath, when I tracked the harmony section in the middle, I was just listening to it and during the playback, and I just heard violins, and I heard a string section, the whole arrangement and everything. And Katie was on tour with The Who in Europe, so she wasn't at home to do it, so we brought someone else in. The performance wasn't good enough, but it showed me the idea was. And so when Katie got home, I sent her the song, and she sent back like a whole string section, like 18 tracks. It's remarkable. And it added this sadness and like this total like beauty to a song that is super dark and disturbing, and it's brilliant.
Yeah, that's the thing about this record, Goliath. It's, as you mentioned earlier, it's very diverse. It wasn't something that you guys did on purpose. It was just something that happened during the songwriting, that variety of songs.
It's just 100% natural. We never ever sit down and say, oh, we need this or we need that. We write a riff and we're not afraid to follow it. And it's like just the way it happens, I wrote a bunch that are on the next album, and half of those are like super fast. One of them's not even 3 minutes long. It's like, and one of them's an epic and it's 8 minutes long, but I wrote 2 epics and I didn't want to put both on one record. And, we just jam, we play music, and we don't really think about what it's got to, we don't put rules on it. We don't say it has to be this or that, we want a balance, but we write the songs, then look at the ones we have, and then we come up with the balance.
Yeah.
My heater's over here making hella noise. You hear that?
Yeah.
Yeah,
But-
it's yelling at me.
But it's good to see so much diversity on this record. But is there a boundary that you guys put on yourselves not to cross musically, or you think everything is up for grabs?
Everything's up for grabs. I mean, we were even joking about finally dropping a ballad on the world, like, which we didn't do. You know, like Rob goes, you should write a ballad. Fuck you, everybody. It's time. Next album, 13 albums, finally a ballad. And I said, you know, if I wrote a ballad, it wouldn't be like a thrash power ballad. I would write something more like Nine Inch Nails, Hurt, you know, something dark and disturbing and makes you want to fucking end your own life, you know, and just really fucked up, you know, and twisted. But we haven't done it yet. But there's no rules, you know. We'll do whatever we want because we only try to please an audience of 5, us.
Yeah, and you know,
we didn't let our own record label hear the album till it's done.
Oh,
Our managers didn't get to hear it. We're like, you'll hear it when it's finished. You know, fuck off.
well, I mean, after so many years of doing this, I mean, you know what you're doing. It's not like you're going to do an hip-hop record. You know, I mean, if I had a label, if I had signed you guys, I would just say, do whatever the fuck you want. You know, when the album is ready, just give it to me and I'll put it out. That's pretty much, we're lucky. That's pretty much the attitude we get. You know, you know, we can't wait to hear it. Keep working. You know, like, we're working. And, you know, because we recorded for 2 months and then still worked on the album more. Like, 'cause we went on tour one day after we finished the record. Like, we rehearsed for the tour in the recording studio. And so Lee and Rob had flew to Nashville to, like, do some additional tracking with Mark Lewis. And some more vocals and solos. I did a couple more solos at a friend's studio near my house. So, you know, we still didn't even finish it, you know, at the time we had because of the tour. What does it still inspire you to make music? It's just the music itself, just the, you know, when you grab the guitar, the sound that comes out, is that inspiration for you? Or is there something that you like to write about normally? How does that work with you when it comes to making music?
I think it's all of those things, you know. I mean, the sound that comes out of guitar, it's a magical thing, being able to, like, pick up an instrument and create, you know, and I still love doing it. I still love playing music with my friends, you know, and I'm still the 17-year-old dude that joined Exodus all those years ago. You know, I'm like, so I still just want to jam and play music. And, you know, if I'm not on tour, I still sit around at home and play music, you know. I jam along to commercials on TV, you know, sit there watching TV with a guitar and, you know, some jingle comes on and I'll try to learn it, you know.
Cool. And is there anything that you have on your bucket list, or do you have a bucket list when it comes to achievements that you want with Exodus and as a musician yourself, or you just go where the wind takes you?
I follow the wind. I'm a sailboat. I don't have a bucket list. I live a pretty good life. I've tried to destroy it enough times. But, you know, like, I'm a working musician. I'm not rich, but I make a living playing the music I love with my friends. It pretty much doesn't get any better than that. My family's happy. Everybody's happy. And so, you know, I just follow the wind. I roll with the breeze. Call me the breeze.
I'm going to be a bit bad on this one, but is your family happier when you're on tour or when you're at home?
I probably drive my wife a little bit insane when I'm home. I'm certain, because she misses me. I miss her too. But yeah, I drive her crazy. My kids, my oldest daughter lives in Hollywood, so I don't see her that much. And the other live in the area, and, you know, their kids are awesome. And but yeah, I can be a pain in the ass.
Do they like to go to see you play? You know, when you're close to where they live, do they like to go watch you play? Or
Yeah. Like if I play Los Angeles, my oldest daughter comes out and sees it. If I play a show in Hollywood, and like if I play like a big Northern California festival like Aftershock, the kids will come and watch Dad play.
Yeah. And they're so proud and of you.
Yeah, it's awesome. Two of my grandkids got to watch me play with Slayer, and that was amazing because they had the time of their lives. They were just, I didn't know how they'd handle it. They fucking danced the whole show. It was awesome.
And just
fire. They loved the fire. They were
yeah.
like, oh.
I mean, you're probably the same. We are close to the same age anyway, but. When we saw Kiss with all those pyros, it was amazing. When we saw a band like a metal band playing and all those pyros, I mean, we'd love that. We might not understand the words sometimes, but we would love the show. So
yeah. I mean, that's every young rocker's dream is to like have that kind of shit on stage. So yeah, going out with Slayer and having like that much fire, it's awesome. It's painful. It hurts. It actually is painful.
Do you feel the heat really?
In the last couple of reunion shows, the pyro's gotten so big that it literally hurts.
Do you have a good insurance?
Yeah. Well, I got life insurance, so there's that. I don't know if it covers on-stage pyro disasters, though.
You need to check that. And
I better check my policy.
It's just for the sake of your family, you don't want to leave hanging with bills or something like that.
Yeah, totally.
I'm joking. And, when it comes to that Slayer reunion, were you as surprised as everyone when they called you and say, like, we're going to play these shows, we're coming back?
I was super surprised. It was a lot of fun. We were really good. We rehearsed really hard. I mean, we worked really hard. And we were really good, and we had a really good time. And that's what was most important. So now I think, we have one show in Texas, and, maybe next year they'll decide they want to do another. I'm always available. And it gives me most of my time free for Exodus, which is perfect for me because this is where I'm supposed to be.
Yeah. And, we spoke about the European tour. You guys start to tour in Lisbon the day the album comes out. Do you know how long you're going to play on that tour with Kreator?
I have to look it up. I've got it somewhere. 40, 45 minutes, something like that. So, nice.
You're already thinking about the set list. I mean, you on this tour that you're doing with Megadeth, you're saying 30 minutes. So if you play a bit more with Kreator, you guys already thinking about which songs you're going to have. Probably some more from the new record because you're promoting it at the end. So
yeah, absolutely. We're already thinking about it for sure.
What can fans expect when they see Exodus live now on stage?
We'll kick the shit out of everybody. That's what we do. Everybody's a victim at an Exodus show.
I remember, I think the first time I saw you guys was already with Rob. Probably it was at Wacken 2001, 2002, something like that. I don't know. It was a long time ago. I remember seeing you guys. And then obviously you guys played Portugal already after that. And then I saw you guys at Bloodstock a few years ago. So I'm really looking forward for this upcoming tour in Europe. Starting in Portugal should be fun.
Yeah, for sure.
Are you do guys normally rehearse the set list before a tour, or how does that work normally?
We don't rehearse as much as we should. We do our rehearsal at home. Everybody hears the songs, practice the stuff, and then you get together for a little bit. But if you do your homework, you should be okay. Like before the retirement of Slayer, I hadn't rehearsed with the band for fucking 8 years, Carrie would tell me what songs are playing. I'll practice them at home. I'd make sure I'm ready to go. And then we'd do production rehearsal for 2 days. And I was always ready to go. If you do your work at home, you'll be ready for the stage.
Yeah. And with Exodus, normally, what is the song, or is there a song specifically when you start playing, you get the reaction from the crowd, even from the band itself, that really gives you goosebumps?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of them, and a lot of those goosebumps come from the crowd. If we play Toxic Waltz and they really start a big pit, it's awesome. Strike of the Beast, The Wall of Death, it's always awesome. The new songs, Blacklist, our biggest hit. It's not Toxic Waltz, it's Blacklist. All of those songs are like fun to play, and the crowd response is killer. So it's hard making up a set list, though. You have this many albums. How do you do it? There's going to be something you don't play that someone's going to be unhappy about.
Yeah,
because you can't play 3 hours not this kind of shit.
And if you did play 3 hours, there will be someone that would still complain about it.
Yeah, because it still wouldn't be everything. But we've done tours, like 15 years ago in South America where we played like over 2 hours, but that's hard, and it was just an evening with Exodus. And but that's hard, and that's an audience that could continue to be violent for that long. Most audiences can't. They're going to get tired. There's a limit on how long people can thrash.
Yeah. I remember every time I watched Slayer, even when Jeff was in the band, before everything happened, they had the perfect time. Like 75 minutes was perfect for a thrash band to play. I mean,
yeah, that's about the maximum for a Slayer show. I mean, the 2 hour plus, that was Exodus shows,
Yeah.
like crazy. But Slayer, it's always about 75 minutes, I think.
Yeah, I think it's perfect. Is there any, before we go, is there any highlight for you in your career so far? Festivals, a special place that really, people were just fucking crazy. Was there any highlight for you?
I mean, the highlight for me, especially because it's recent, was the Back to the Beginning show. Just being a part of something that important, not realizing we were going to lose Ozzy 17 days later, I think. That was huge for me, and just being able to honor someone who, through his solo career and Black Sabbath, it meant so much to me as a kid before I even played guitar. It was remarkable. And seeing so many other people in bands there, and everybody checked their ego at the door. Everybody was just watching each other play and being part of this great moment, and it was remarkable.
Yeah. Favorite Black Sabbath song?
That's a hard one. Maybe The Writ.
That's a good choice. It's not
heavy.
It's not one that people would go for, I think.
It's super heavy.
Yeah.
It's like one of Ozzy's best vocal performances.
Yeah. All right, Gary, thank you very much for your time. All the best for this Canadian tour. Mind the cold. Don't go outside. You're not a polar bear,
No, I'm not. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, and I'll see you in Lisbon in March, all right? Thank you.
See you in Lisbon.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye. Metal Global foi conversa com Gary Holt dos Exodus, eles que vão lançar dia 20 de março o seu novo álbum intitulado Goliath. E é nesse dia que eles atuam em Portugal, no início da digressão europeia dos Kreator, e vai ser garantidamente um concerto a não perder. Para além de Kreator, há também Carcass, obviamente os Exodus e também os Nails. Sala Tejo, 20 de março, vai ser a não perder o início da Crushers of the World Tour dos Kreator. E assim chega ao final deste podcast. Dúvidas ou sugestões? Podem enviar e-mail jorge.botas@rtp.pt. Visite o site metalglobal.pt e sigam-me no Twitter e Instagram em @mountainking. Façam like na página de Facebook do Metal Global e se estão a ouvir em Apple Podcasts, Spotify ou YouTube Music, subscrevam para não perder nenhum episódio. Eu volto no próximo programa. Um forte abraço.
Children of the night, you will live through the centuries to come, as I have lived. Good night.